Vamos a dar fin a esta sesión de mañana.
We will conclude the morning session, and as we usually say, last but not least is Blanca Alcanda, who's the General Director of a company that I have already mentioned in several occasions, and yesterday in my intervention, well, I defined Technosite as the tool or the main company of many of the ONCE Foundation projects in its accessibility area and in accessibility and R&D department. Blanca has been with us in the ONCE Foundation for a long time, and she has been working long enough at Technosite so as to have transformed Technosite from a small company to a large company at all different levels. The ONCE Foundation has also a business approach, but not only, it also has a social approach trying to generate business opportunities for people with disabilities in Spain. And along these lines, Technosite has been a good example, and for a long time it has been a good example. And just to mention here, ICTs. ICTs is an example along these lines. It has been a good opportunity, an interesting opportunity. So thanks to Blanca and her team, well, we have been developing all of these things. Having said this, I will give the floor to Blanca, and she will talk about interoperability. And we will be listening to her until lunchtime. You have some examples outside in the Technosite stand. And now she will tell us a little bit about this concept and how we're working in Technosite and how the people who collaborate with Technosite, how do they focus on all of these issues all together. So you have the floor. Thank you very much, Enrique. Good afternoon. I'll try to be brief in my intervention, but I don't want to speak too fast because my sign language colleagues need some time for the translation. And saying interoperability very fast, well, probably we're going to make mistakes if we do that very fast. Anyway, in my 20-minute intervention, we will talk about the third generation of accessibility and why we need it. I will talk about the INREDIS project. This is one of the most important projects, at least in size, in Europe, related to accessibility. And finally, I will talk about the third generation of accessibility in the INREDIS framework. And finally, I will talk about a few conclusions. All of us here today, we have seen how technologies have experienced a lot of innovation. And some of you can be proud to say that you have actively participated. And I am totally convinced that all of this is changing our lifestyle. I see this every day because technologies are varying the way in which we relate to each other, we inform to each other, we participate as citizens in life, and how we relate with the public administration, how we train ourselves. It's changing absolutely everything. And as all revolutions, there are large opportunities, but also large threats. Opportunities, groups that until now it was difficult for them to access information and services. Now they can do that independently. But the threat is that we could forget that not everyone uses technology in the same way. not only because of physical limitations, but also due to knowledge limitation and also economic issues. So if we exclude an important group from this new society, again, we will be creating a gap, the digital gap. That's how we know it. But we are excluding an important pocket of population, and it's the concept of e-inclusion. What we specifically try to do is to have all of these people being part of the process. And we need to take into account that technologies need to be designed taking into account human diversity. And moreover, these technologies should be accessible. Throughout the Congress, we have been talking in several occasions about how many people have accessibility issues. In Spain, there's 4.1 million of people with disability. According to the 2007 survey, 7.5 million of people are elderly people or more than 65 years old. And there are elderly people who are disabled, and they are disabled people who maybe do not have accessibility issues. But we're talking about important pockets of population. And when we talk about Europe, people who are disabled in Europe represent as many people as the Spanish population. So we are just saying that accessibility is a social need. And on the other hand, we're also saying that there are important pockets of population. So my question is the following. We do have social needs, and these social needs create business opportunities. So as Javier was mentioning in the previous roundtable, why is it so difficult for the industry to adopt design criteria that can be applied or used by all of us? First of all, I believe that social needs are not always reflected in market demand. It is difficult for us to explain our support products. Javier was talking about how difficult it is for the technical industry to talk with the user because we're lacking marketing. We need to think in how to design our products for people to buy them. And for people to buy them, we need to talk about emotions, price, how design, how user-friendly it is. And I believe that the key issue is that the accessible development is not easy because the development tools
siempre fáciles de interpretar. Existen pocos profesionales formados en criterios de accesibilidad y de alguna forma falta consenso y referencia. En la anterior mesa Tania nos hablaba que muchas veces el marco europeo va un poco detrás de del marco normativo de cada uno de los países y esto provoca una fragmentación. Hoy por hoy no hay ninguna autoridad europea para certificación en accesibilidad. Y claro, estamos en un mundo global donde las soluciones técnicas tienen que servir para varios países porque si no, no conseguimos esas economías de escalas que hemos hablado. El resultado es que tenemos enormes esfuerzos en desarrollo y adaptación de tecnología, pero no tenemos una metodología.
But we do not have a methodology or a protocol that takes into account these large-scale needs. We have progressed a great deal, but there's still a long way to go. And from my point of view, the future challenges are to make the social needs market demands, convince the industry that their technologies have to be accessible. We have to talk about accessibility in all of the environments, in all of the technologies. We have been talking a lot about webs, but we have to develop these in other technologies. And technologies should adapt themselves to other people. They are difficult to use. Those of us who are used with it, we know more or less how to use it. For example, myself, in this presentation, I had a PowerPoint presentation. I had to convert it because I could use it with some computers, but not with some other computers. This is not easy, especially with those who are not expert. And to me, the key issue is research and development. development. We are at the very beginning. We have progressed a great deal, but we need to research much more. And in this context, this is why this is where we launched the INREDIS project. It is a research project that it's financed by a business consortium and also the Ministry of Industry through some bids that are called CENITs. They are basic technology research projects, and we focus on accessible technologies and interoperable technologies. We want to have communication channels that have some interaction with people with some special needs and the environment. It is a 4-year project, 24 million euro project, and it has 14 companies and 18 research centers, and the leader is TechnoSite. As we can see here, this is a research project with different perspectives. Here we have all of the research centers and companies that participate. And as you can see, it's a long list. And we should take into account that they are not technology centers. We also have financing centers such as Barclays, La Caixa, Vodafone, and technology companies such as Alba, Ibermática, and some companies specialized in support projects such as TDT, Discom, Ubiquity. We also have companies that are specialized in physical accessibility, such as Via Libre. If we want to enlarge this concept of accessibility for all, we need to take into account the market, the industry, and the different perspectives, from large companies to small companies. And also the participation of universities and research centers. They give us important knowledge along these lines. In TechnoSite, we are leaders of this project, and as Enrique